Good afternoon, everyone. On behalf of the Department of English, I welcome you all for this last day session on career oriented certificate course in communication skills and personality development. Respected Principal Dr. Sujit Maitre sir, the resource person of today's session, Ms. Ragini Mohite ma'am, the head of the Department of English, respected Dr. A.M. Shende sir, the organizing team members, Vice Principal Dr. Tundulwar sir, Dr. Kane ma'am, Dr. Ragtate sir, respected teachers, and my dear students. I once again welcome you all on this sixth day session on the influence factor, sorry, on influential factors in the English speaking. Today, Ms. Ragini Mohite will conduct this session. Let me take this opportunity to introduce her. Ms. Ragini Mohite has done her BSc in biotechnology. She has done her Master of Arts in English Literature from Kamla Nehru Mahavidyalaya. She is a part-time content writer as well as a food blogger. She has been teaching English to middle school and high school students from the last 3 years. Welcome you, ma'am. Now I request ma'am, Miss Ragini Mohite, to begin this session.
Hello students, I hope I'm audible. Hello, am I audible? Oh, okay. Yeah. Okay, so I am audible. Hello students. So I'm very glad that I'll be taking a session today for all of you. And so the topic on which I'm going to take a session is the influential factors of English speaking. Okay. So we all know the quality of life depends on the quality of communication we do or we make, because if we have a quality communication with others, indefinitely the quality of life will also improve. So okay, let's begin with our session. Okay. Okay. Yeah. So yeah.
So students, let's
begin with the session. Okay. So am I on audible? Yeah. Okay. So let's start. So let's begin with the topic. So what are the factors, influential factors in English speaking? We all know the reason why language development happens early and quickly is because of the need to communicate. An infant who only knows how to communicate through crying is forced to learn how to speak because of its need to better communicate with its caregivers. This is how language is learned. It is known factor that a baby can't communicate with anyone, may it be his parents or anyone else around him. So what he does, or what the baby does, is he or she communicates with its hands or the sound he or she makes. Okay, because why? He wants to communicate, he or she wants to communicate with someone. So that is why they, if a baby cries, we can't know if he's crying or she's crying because he or she is hungry or he or she is sleeping. And that is how the need of communication develops. The baby needs to learn a language because it he or she wants to communicate. Believe it or not, language development starts from the moment we are born. A baby cries once it takes its first breath of air, and crying is a form of communication. So when the baby is born, it cries, and it is how we come to know that that the baby wants to communicate with us. Okay, language development is the same for everyone. It all starts in the home. A baby is expected to talk even before it starts walking on its own. At 2 years, a baby is expected to be able to hold a conversation with another person. By 4, a child is already expected to understand proper sentence constructions and grammar rules that apply to the child's native language. The child is also expected to be able to hold fluent conversations with another person. So what here we want to say in terms of communication is that we expect the baby to talk with us even before it starts walking. The baby says mama, dada, baba, whatever he or she can try to say in its words. Okay, so like what we expect from them is that they should hold a conversation, or they should at least interact with someone, maybe through burbling or mumbling, or even through signs. Okay, not every time the baby can talk, but he or she can talk in terms of like signs or small like words or sounds. So through this, what we understand is how communication is important. And we all know the baby starts talking or like constructing sentences in the native language, the baby's native language, in that the baby starts talking. Okay, however, when it comes to learning a second language, there are slight differences. Most of the time a person studying a second language has already mastered a first one. Okay, so for example, we are living in Maharashtra. Most of the people living in Maharashtra talk in Hindi or Marathi. So we can say Marathi is our first language. It's our native language. It's what our parents have taught us, or even their parents have taught them, or that is the language in which they have been talking, or we have been talking. So Marathi is our first language, and we learn it from the time we are born. But for us, English is the second language. It's not the language through which our family interacts with each other. It's our first language, that is Marathi, through which we talk. Therefore, when we try to learn a second language, we have already known a first one. That is, for us, it's Marathi, because we are talking in that language since we are born. Okay, so why do we not, need to study the English language? Okay, there are a lot of reasons for studying the English language. Aside from English being the easiest language to learn, it is also very easy to understand. Many people have this misconception that English is very hard to learn. No, it's not. It's a language and we can learn it. Okay, so it's not that difficult to learn. English is one of the most easiest language in the whole world. Okay, of all the languages. Okay, as the official language of over 50 countries, English is a commonly spoken language in the world. The English language is the language of the people. So what we know here is that English is the commonly spoken language in the whole world. Okay, so it is the official language of over 50 countries, United Kingdom, United States of America, and many more countries have English as their official language. Okay, the English language is the language of the people. It is also the language of science, technology, art, business, computers, and of the internet. If you know how to speak English, you can easily land a job in a multinational company. Because of these reasons, a lot of people are considering to learn English or Mandarin, the most spoken language in the world with over a billion speakers. So now, coming to the most important point, that why do we need to learn English? Are we trying to learn English because we want to impress someone, we want to influence someone? No, we want to learn English, or we want to speak in English because it is the language of science, technology, art, business, computers, and of internet. So what do this statement means here? That in whichever industry we go, like it's related to technology or related to the art industry, business industry, computers, or even through internet, we can English is the language through we can interact with the people of these industries. Okay, also it is the language of the people. If it is the official language of over 50 countries in the world, you can consider the fact that if we know English, we can interact with the people of almost 50 countries. We can have we can hold a communication with the people over there, or of the industries over there. Okay, because of these reasons, a lot of people consider to learn English over Mandarin. Mandarin is one of the language which is spoken in China. Okay, and it is the most spoken language in the world with over a billion speakers, and next comes English. So English is the second most spoken language in the world. With that being said, as with studying any foreign language, a lot of English learners can have self doubts, especially once they begin. This factor we have seen in a lot of people, that is, that whenever we are studying any foreign language or any second language, if we are studying even English also, many people have self doubts. They are not confident that they can learn English or they can try to speak in English. Okay, once they start it, okay, self doubt is something which arises just as you begin. Okay, just like learning how to speak a first language, learning a second language is like going through the stages of language development all over again. So when we are born, we learn our first language, our native language. So when we are learning the second language, the process starts all over again, from being a baby, from what we started in the beginning, from when we were born. The process starts all over again for the second language. As mentioned earlier, most second language learners have already mastered one language. This is what we have like heard before, or I have discussed before with you, that we know our native language and it is our first language, and we have already mastered that language till we come to learn the second language. So they begin with a certain language system already ingrained in them. Often a language learner studying a language that is different from his or her own language family can have a difficult time. So when we want to learn a second language, we need to study, or we need to learn it from a certain language system which we already know. Okay, so like when we are studying English, before we know Marathi. Okay, so when our teachers or someone is trying to teach us in our school, they started out explaining to us in Marathi. We understood it in Marathi, and then we tried to learn it in English. That is what I am trying to say here, is that we teach the second language through the first language which we already know. Okay, so what we say here is that often a language learner studying a language that is different from his or her own known language family can have a difficult time. So what happens sometimes is, if you are a language learner and you are studying a language, but that language is quite different from the language you have known, then you can have a difficult time learning this new language. But it happens with every case. You may have difficulties in whatever you do, but that does not mean you quit it. You try to overcome it. So even if you are facing any issues learning this language, you still can overcome it. Okay, so for example, a Japanese student will have no doubt, no trouble learning Hangul, but might have a little difficulty in learning Spanish. Okay, so Hangul is a like sister language of Japanese. So what, there are many common words in Hangul which there are in Japanese. So when a person knows Japanese, he can easily learn Hangul because there are common words in both the languages. So the person may not have so much of difficulty learning the second language. But if you ask a Japanese person to learn Spanish, he will have uh, it will be more difficult for him to learn that language. Why? Because there is no common factor in these two languages, and there are no common words or no common factor in them. So he will have a difficulty learning other language. Okay, but how does language development begin, and what are the factors that influence language learning? Okay, so let us explore further. So this is an example which I gave you, that if you are learning a language which is different from your native language, you can have a difficulty. Okay, that's just an example, but there are some factors which influence your language learning, and we will be discussing it further. Okay, so the factors that influence English language learning. Okay, aside from determination and perseverance, several other factors come into play when one decides to learn the English language or any other foreign language. We all know that Rome was not built in a day. Okay, so if we want to learn something, we can't learn it in a day or a week or a month. It requires time, it requires determination from us. Okay, it requires perseverance, it requires hard work from our side. Okay, we need to be consistent when we are doing something, when we are doing a work, or even when we are learning a language. We need to have determination, perseverance. Okay, we need to be consistent. Okay, even if these factors are important, some of the factors which influence the English language learning can be categorized into two parts. Okay, so these factors are categorized into two parts. The first is the internal factors, and the second is the external factors. So let us first focus on the internal factors that influence English language learning. Okay, so these are the things that are intrinsic to the learner. They are divided into five types. Okay, so what we mean here by internal factors is the factors which we can feel, which we can't see physically, but we can feel them. Okay, internal factors can be felt, but they can't be seen. Okay, so that is why they are called as internal factors, and they are divided into five types. First is language, second is age, third is cognitive abilities, fourth is passion, and fifth is personal experience. So moving on to the first factors, which is language. As mentioned earlier, a student trying to learn a language from the same language family as his or her first language will have an easier time. So what I told you here is, we discussed the example of a Japanese student that he, if he or she wants to learn Hangul, he can easily learn Hangul because Hangul is similar to Japanese language. But if the student wants to learn Spanish, he will have a difficult time learning it because these two languages don't have a common factor in it. Okay, so here applies the same, that if a student tries to learn a language from the same language family as his first languages, it will be easier for him. But if it's quite different from his or her first language, then it will be difficult. So a language family. So what do you mean by a language family? I'm like saying the word again and again, the same language for a family or different language family. So what is a language family actually? A language family is a group of languages that come from a common mother language. So what we want to tell here is, when we say a language family, it is a group of languages. It's not only just one language, it's a group of 3 to 4 or 5 to 6 languages which have a common mother language. That is, it has been developed or born from a common mother language. Like when we say Marathi, so many of us don't know that Marathi is comes from a common mother language, Prakrit, from which Sanskrit also comes. So okay, so Marathi, Hindi are the languages which comes from a common mother language which is called Prakrit. So the mother language Prakrit has has some common words which come in Hindi also and Marathi also. That is why these two languages belong from the common mother language. That is what we call a language family. Okay, so the languages which have a common mother language has the same language family. The English language, for example, is part of the Germanic languages, which also includes Dutch, Swedish, and German. In that regard, a German student is more likely to learn English faster than an Italian student. So, when we discuss about the language family of English language, we can say that it is a part of the Germanic language, means its common mother language is German. Okay, and what does the Germanic family has? Okay, so apart from English, Dutch, Swedish, and German, these three languages are part of the Germanic languages. That means they have a common mother language. So if a German student is trying to learn English, okay, he'll learn it faster than an Italian student. Why? Because an Italian student does not share the common mother language which a German student does. German, Swedish, Dutch, and English have almost a common vocabulary or common words in them. Okay, so a German student learning English will have a less of a problem learning the language. But if you are determined and confident to learn any language, you just can do that. It's just a factor. Okay, yeah. Age. It is a known fact that children tend to learn a new language faster than adults. Children also tend to adapt accents easily, unlike some older English language students who struggle with intonation and pronunciation. Okay, so whenever we see some sort of YouTube videos or some sort of interviews, we see there are small babies or even toddlers or even small children talking very fluently in English. And we are very fascinated by that. But do we realize the fact that English is their mother language? They have been learning or they have been speaking in English since they were born. That is why they can talk in English so well. But if we talk about us, English is not our native language. Our native language is Marathi or Hindi or whatever it is. But we can speak fluently in that because we have been speaking that since we were born. That is why age is a very important factor in that. We can see that some of the students or some of the people who are learning English later in their life have struggle with like pronunciation problem or intonation problems. Like pronunciation, we know we can't spell the word properly, or we know we can't take proper breaks while speaking a sentence or something like that. So why do we have a problem with this? Because we do not share a past history with that language and we are new to that language. That is why we have a problem with that. But the students or the children who have been speaking English since childhood tend to know it faster because they have been doing it since they were born. And also children also tend to adapt accents easily. They catch things up very fast. They know how to like, we always know that some like we always say kids are very smarter these days. So they learn things very fast. So they learn accents also very fast and words also very fast. So age is one of the internal factor which plays an important part in English language learning. But that does not mean that older students will not be successful in their journey to learn a new language. This is just a factor. Okay, this is just a factor. That does not mean that if you are trying to learn English now, you will not be successful in your journey. You will be successful. It's just that you will require a bit more time than the children. Okay, yes. Next is cognitive abilities. So cognitive abilities, what do you mean by cognitive abilities? Cognitive abilities are the abilities which are developed by our brain. That is the ability to think, the ability to develop, the ability to speak out, the abilities which we get from our brains, imbibed from our brain is called as are called as cognitive abilities. Okay, since learning a new language involves a great deal of understanding, the students cognitive abilities will also come into play. So when we are trying to learn a new language, it involves a great deal of understanding. We need to understand the word, we need to understand what what someone is teaching us or what someone is trying to say. So when we try to understand, then we learn a new language. Okay, so it involves a lot of understanding. Therefore the students cognitive abilities will also come into play. So here is the cognitive abilities will of course make an influence in this study, in this regard. Why? Because if we are, because for example, I'm watching a movie and it has English subtitles. Okay, so I'm just watching it, but I'm not fully into it, or I'm thinking about something else. So will I be able to like absorb the dialogues or absorb the things the characters of the movie are trying to say? No. But if I'm fully watching the movie, I'm paying attention to the movie, I'll know what the character was saying to another character, what the story or the plot of the movie was, or what they were trying to say. Okay, so these factors play a very important role. In short, we can say that while we are learning a new language, we need to pay attention. It's just not that you are sitting in the class and the teacher is teaching you, but you are not paying attention and you will learn a language. No, you need to pay attention, you need to think about it. Many of you must have heard about this thing that if you need to learn a language, you need to think. Okay, you need to think from that language point of view. Okay, so whenever we are learning a language, you need to pay attention, you need to be dedicated. Okay, you need to think, you need to develop your abilities in terms of learning a new language. Students with above average and higher intelligence can learn language patterns better and can acquire vocabulary quicker. Okay, so what we are trying to say here is that the students who are above average and have higher intelligence or IQ can learn in languages very well. Why? Because they have higher IQs, they pay attention and all. But and they will quickly learn new words, language patterns, or they will quickly catch on to conversations or something in a new language. But that does definitely does not mean that learning a second language is limited to people with an IQ of above 110. Many people have this misconception in their head. They think that they can't learn English or any other language just because they are not that intelligent. It's not like that. Okay, you don't need to be intelligent just to learn a language. It's just a language. You need to pay attention, you need to focus, you need to just go with it. If you do so, you can learn a language. You don't need to be intelligent for that. Okay, some researchers even believe that language learning is an ability that is innate in some people. Plus the English language is simple enough for anyone to understand. So there have been some researches which have been made, and through that the conclusion came is that some people can easily learn languages. Okay, we just don't need a special talent just to learn a language. We can learn languages very easily. There are many people who know like 7 to 8 languages. They are too good in speaking languages or something. And moreover, English is not that difficult language, so you can easily learn it. Okay, you just don't need a higher IQ or something like that. Anyone can learn English at any point in their life. Okay. Okay, so this is a very important factor in learning English, that is passion. Soon to be students of the English language should know their reasons for learning the language. This is a very important point, that you should not learn English just because you want to impress someone or just because you want to show off to people that you know it. You need to know the reason for learning the language. You need to know why do you need to learn English, because you want to communicate with different people of different communities of different countries, or you need to learn English for interaction with the people of the other industry. So your reason for learning English should be specific. Is it purely for personal reasons? Maybe it is for business, academic, whatever the reason is. The most important thing is that the student should want it. Okay, so the reasons may be for personal reasons. You want to interact with someone, or you want to do it for your business or something like that, or even for academics. Like if you want to go study in another country or something like that, and you need the language, or you need to learn the language to interact with the people there. So your reason for learning English should be very specific, but the most important reason is that you should want it. You should have the desire to learn the language. Without passion, doing anything will always seem boring. If you don't have a passion for anything, everything seems boring to you, even language learning. You need to have passion in whatever you do, and that is when you can succeed. Because if you don't have passion, you just can't pay attention to things, and that involves language learning too. And learning a language can be tiring, even frustrating at times. So it is very important that a language learner loves not just the process of learning, but even the language to be learned as well. Okay, not every lesson you learn, or not everything you learn in the languages will be like simple. Sometimes it can be a bit difficult to you. It can make you frustrated, it can annoy you to a point, it can be tiring too. But the thing is that you should just not give up on it. You should have the passion to just continue with it. Okay, because not because a language learner should just not like love it. He should also okay. So you should not just I'm sorry, so you should just not love the process of learning, but even the language of as well. Some people just are like that, yeah, we love learning and all, but they are not interested in what they are learning. They are just like interested in the process, whatever is happening. But you should also have interest in the language you are learning as well. Okay, yeah. So next comes personal experiences. Okay, an English language student who has had some prior exposure to the language, say from films or music, will have an edge against someone who has none. This is because of the familiarization that prior exposure gives. Okay, so this is one of the important points which you should note down, or which you should know. You should have a introduction or exposure to the language you want to learn through films or music. Not only English, but any other language you want to learn, make sure you have a prior exposure to it. So what does prior exposure to the language means here? Okay, so if you want to learn English, are you like just try to watch some YouTube videos, like some English films or English songs or something like that. So when you listen to that, or when it goes through your brain, some of the words, or you gain some vocabulary from it, you come to know of different words, you come to know of the accent they are using, intonations, pronunciations. You just have a introduction to it. Okay, well, I have seen some of the people which whom I know, that they watch many web series or something like that, and their vocabulary is really good because they are gaining new words, they are knowing new words, they are knowing the pronunciation of some things. And so these things really matter, because not everything can be learned through a teacher or a book or something like that. You just need to gain experience, or you just need to go through the process to know all of that. And the one of these things are very important, that when you have a prior exposure to the language, you will have something to say about it. Okay, from saying nothing, it's better to say something than to say nothing on. So it applies here also. Okay, okay. So next, these were the internal factors which we discussed before. Okay, so now we come to the external factors. So what are the external factors? So external factors describe the environment that surrounds the learner. Okay, what external factor means here is that the surrounding which the learner is getting, the surrounding in which he or she is, that in that surrounding, the factors which influence the surrounding or are in the surrounding are called as external factors, and there are four external factors. So first external factor is a teacher. Since learning a language is different from learning about, for example, Egyptian culture, it is important to have a good teacher. Okay, what we want to say here is that since learning a language is different from learning about, for example, in Egyptian culture, okay, so when we are learning a language, okay, we need to learn here, okay, but when we are learning something we just need to absorb it, but we, in terms of a language, we need to give it back or we need to reflect it back. It just does not like involves absorbing things which the teacher is telling us, just absorbing things and knowing it. No, you need to reflect it back in terms of a language. To be fluent in English language, conversation is an integral part of the curriculum. An effective language teacher is someone who is not only passionate about the job, but is also genuinely concerned about the students. Okay. So when you want to learn English, it is important to know grammar. It is important to have a good vocabulary, but that's not the whole part. You need to be fluent in the language too. That is, you need to make a conversation. You should be able to strike a conversation when you are learning a language. Okay, just knowing grammar and vocabulary does not do the thing. You need to make sure that you are able to make a conversation with the another person. And what the role of an effective language teacher here is that he or she should not be just passionate about the job, but is also genuinely concerned about the student. So what the teacher here needs to do is, he or she just does not needs to teach the student, he or she needs to make sure that the student is able to do what he or she needs to do, or they can help them in whatever they are doing, in this case helping them learn a new language. Effective instructors will go out of their way to discover the interest of their students to ensure that each lesson is fun and dynamic. So whenever a language teacher or an effective instructor is teaching, they will not only teach the students the language or whatever the essential parts of the language each is, but they will also need to make sure that whatever they are teaching to the students must be fun. It should be something the students can absorb, they are learning, and they will find it fun too. Okay, yeah. So the next factor is course curriculum, or we can say syllabus. And ESL, English as a second language curriculum, does not have to be strict. Just because it is a language course, it does not have to focus solely on grammar rules and sentence pattern. This is what we used to do in school. What we used to do, or what used to happen is, or what happens now also, is that English is a second language and it's a part of our syllabus. Okay. So whatever we get taught in the school is strictly about the syllabus. The like even the poems or the lessons we have, they are from the syllabus. The teacher teaches them. The pattern is very specific. But just because it is a language, it does not need to solely focus on grammar rule and sentence pattern. Okay, so learning a language does not stop here on grammar and sentence only. Okay, we need to like go beyond the syllabus, we need to go beyond it and learn much more than that. Okay, as mentioned, it is important to talk to the students because language is learned better through conversation. It should not be like that the teacher is teaching, the student is listening. It should not stop here. Language is something which we used to converse with. So conversation is a very important part here, that the teacher should be able to strike a conversation with the student, or there should be a conversation between the teacher and the student for that specific language which we are trying to learn. An English language curriculum that is strictly textbook will find its student heading to dreamland or even out the door in no time. Yeah, this is true everywhere. Okay, so when we are learning through books, or it is we are talking about the curriculum of which is strictly from the textbooks, we see that the students get bored or they are not interested in learning the lesson because they are just trying to learn it, or they are just trying to get it absorbed in their head, but they are not genuinely interested in it. So what we need to do here is that we need to think beyond it, so that the students should be interested in learning that and not see it as a part of their syllabus or their studies. Okay, So is it possible to learn how to read a language without learning how to speak it? So what they are saying here is it possible that we can read a language but we don't know how to speak it? I have seen many of the people who know how to write well, who can speak who can write very nicely. Okay, they have a good command over their vocabulary. They're like their grammar is really good. But when it comes to speak in English, they can't do it. Okay, so why does it happen? The answer is yes, it is possible to know how to read a language without learning how to speak it. It happens with many people that they can read a language but they don't know how to speak it because they are strictly kept to the boundaries of their course curriculum and they do not explore their boundaries or go beyond it. Usually, this is what happens to second language learners. Most language courses focus on learning the language system, writing and reading, and spends little time on allowing the students to converse with each other. So, what they are trying to say here is, or what I'm trying to say here is that this happens to most of the second language learners who are trying to learn a second language except for their native language, that they focus so much on writing or reading things that they the students don't even get the time to strike a conversation in the language they are trying to learn. What happens is that the students are excellent readers of the language but they are terrible speakers. Why? Because did all their they like took all of their time out to learn how to read and write the language, but they didn't have the time to learn how to speak it. And that is why what happens is they are excellent readers or writers but they are not, but they are terrible speakers. Okay, okay, so this is level of, so the next is level of discrimination. No matter how hard we try to end discrimination in all its forms, it will always rear its ugly head whenever it gets the chance to. Students who experience classroom discrimination may find it difficult to learn. There are many forms of discrimination in an English language class. For example, students will usually make fun of other students with heavy accents because of the distinct way they pronounce or intonate some words. Some students would also deliberately exclude other students from group interactions, mainly just because of the color of their skin. So, this is what happens commonly everywhere around the world, that there is discrimination happening, comparison happening. Okay, and whenever comparison happens, what happens is the other person who is getting hit by the level of discrimination will become less confident, or he or she will lose their confidence in this process. Why? Because when we are discriminating them, they will it will surely shatter the confidence of the person who is trying to learn or who is trying to get through it. Okay, so we have seen many a times that some students make fun of other students just because they have a heavy accent or they can't pronounce a word properly. But this is what we should not do. Why? Because when we are learning, we are in the process of getting, like, what I want to say here is learning is a process and you will surely make mistakes in them. But if you are making fun of others while they are learning, it will surely affect their growth or their confidence in their part. Okay, next. Next is experience. Okay, experience is the best teacher. Having the chance to talk with a native English speaker is important when studying the language. Students can practice their skills through conversation. Students learn proper pronunciation and intonation through conversation. Okay, so experience is something which helps us for a longer time. Okay, so when we say we want to learn something, we can't learn it in a day or two. It needs time, it needs years of practice. When we see speakers talking in, like, in public meetings or ted in or you may have seen in TEDx, speakers speak very confidently, but it's not something they have learned in a day. It's their sheer dedication and the level of practice or the years they have spent in it, that they that they can do it confidently after such a time. So that applies here also, that we need experience to learn to speak the language or to learn the language. Okay, and for experience, what we need to do here is we need to practice our skills. We need to talk with people, we need to strike a conversation with others. But here we can say that having the chance to talk with a native English speaker is important. Okay, so we can't find a native English speakers like in India or something like that, but what you can do here is you can try to converse with your teachers, or you can try to uh, do interaction with the people who are good in English, who have a good command over their English. So what will happen is if you make mistakes or something like that, they can help you out there, or they can tell you what mistake you made. A language student or can also learn about the other aspects of a language, such as colloquialisms and idioms, better when speaking to a native speaker. So what is colloquialisms? Colloquialisms are words which we speak, but they are not there in a written form. We just we just while we are just speaking, we say out that words, but we don't write it. Okay, and idioms we know are like muhavre, which we say in Hindi. Okay, or muhavre or mani, which we say in Marathi. So when we talk to native speakers or someone who has a good hold over English, when they use idioms or phrases or something like that, we get to know new words, yeah, or new phrases or new idioms, and this increases our vocabulary. It helps in our vocabulary. A native speaker is certain to have first-hand knowledge of these things, and they are sure to explain them better. Students who have regular interactions with native speakers tend to learn the language faster. Students who do not or have limited interaction with native speakers might have slower progress. So in case of us, in terms here, we can't talk to a native speaker, but we can talk to our teachers. Okay, so when we talk to our teachers or someone who knows English, they can easily point out the mistakes which we make. They can tell us where we are going wrong, and then we can improve that. Okay, and when we tend to make interactions with people who know more of English, we tend to learn the language faster. More than learning or reading the language, interaction or conversation with people can help you learn the language faster. Yeah, like everything else that involves a degree of study, the experience of learning a new language can be different for everyone. Some may find it as easy as counting from 1 to 3, while others may find themselves sweating heavily just trying to read a short passage. It is a journey, but it is always a fulfilling one. It's Learning a language is not something which will be same for every person. Okay, so the experience of every person will be very different. Okay, someone who is very interested in learning a new language will be passionate about it. He or she will learn the language faster. Or there may be some people who may be underconfident or who are just anxious. They will need much more time, but it is a journey. And if you start, you need to just end it. You just can't quit it or just leave it behind. So it applies in case of English also, that if you want to learn a language or if you want to learn English, just go with it. You just don't need to stop. Maybe it will require time, patience and whatnot from you, but if you are dedicated to the process, you will surely make it through, and that is what I can say confidently. Okay. Okay, so thank you, student. That's it for today's session. I hope this session will be helpful for you if you are trying to learn the language. Thank you so much.
Hello, ma'am. Am I audible? Hello, ma'am. Am I audible?
Yes, ma'am. Yes. You're
Okay.
audible.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you so much. This session was really great. Ma'am has presented before us the internal and external factors that influence the language. So students, you might get the idea of how should we start if we want to learn a language. Begin from listening, reading, watching, and try to emotionally connect with the language. Make it a part of your daily life. It's easy to learn something in a native language, but becomes difficult to learn the second language. So students, don't be panic. Just try to remember how you learned your first language and how you learn your mother tongue. Just remember all those things, and you will you will, if you remember all those things, you will definitely know that you did some mistakes in the beginning. Others will fun on you if you are going to learn the second language. It doesn't matter. If you started, one day you will definitely become a fluent English communicator. So speak with yourself. Think first in your mother tongue. Try to translate the same thought in English. Naturally, you shall search a dictionary to find the English word for the word which is in your native mother tongue language, and do this exercise daily. This will be the first step uh, to begin a new language. This will be the first step of your English language development. Thank you, ma'am. Thank you so much. You did a nice job today. Now I would like to request Mrs. Harsha Shende, ma'am, to do the vote of thanks.
Hello. Good evening, everyone. It gives me an immense pleasure to deliver the vote of thanks for this event. I, Harsha Shinde, on behalf of SB City College, extend a hearty vote of thanks to our today's resource person, Miss Ragini Mohite ma'am, who spared time from her busiest schedule to grace the occasion. It was a wonderful session, and we can say that whatever the factors of English speaking you have explained through your lectures, definitely helpful for students, ma'am. Now, I would like to express my sincere thanks to the principal of SB City College, Dr. Sujit Maitre sir, Vice Principal Dr. Tundulwar sir, HOD of English Department, Dr. Anil Shende sir, IQAC Coordinator Dr. Pranjali Kane ma'am, Raktate sir, and respected teachers. I also thank to the organizing team for having such a wonderful session. And last but not least, I thank to all participants here. Our today's session and all over our 6 days session is over here. Students, I request you, please don't leave the group till you will get the certificate of this session. One last feedback link will be shared with you. And after filling that feedback form, the e-certificate will be generated on your mobile. Thanks for your support. We will again come with the new session, which will be based on grammar. Till that moment, tata, bye bye. Okay, always stay blessed and stay happy. Now, today's session is over here. And thank you for your support. Bye.